Are you noticing stubborn weight gain around your midsection, energy crashes mid-afternoon, or crazy sugar cravings, no matter what you try, diet and exercise-wise? These could be signs of insulin resistance. And in midlife, we women are 2 to 3 times more likely to be resistant to insulin, yet we have no idea. Up to 90% of it is undiagnosed. So today, we're going to talk about the most common and overlooked signs of insulin resistance and how you know if you have it. Also, we're going to talk about strategies to help you reverse it. Yes, reverse it. The good news is insulin resistance is highly reversible by how we live our lives. So let's start simple. What is insulin resistance? Insulin is a hormone whose job is to drive blood sugar into our cells so we can use it for energy. And that happens in response to two different things. One is diet. Now, certain foods are going to be more prone to increase that blood sugar and insulin response, like carbohydrates and sugars, compared to proteins and fats won't have as large of a role there. The second thing is stress. No matter what kind of stress, how big or how small, your body is preparing for fight or flight, whether it needs to or not. Most case scenarios, it doesn't need to do that. But in that regards, your body needs that energy. So your body will produce that blood sugar so that our cells have the energy to fight or flight. It's just not getting utilized. That's where insulin resistance comes in. So over time, due to higher stress load, environmental toxins, hormone shifts, metabolic changes, lifestyle changes, our body and cells become more resistant to insulin. The crazy thing is, what does our body do in response? It produces more insulin to compensate for that resistance. So we're making more insulin to do a job it already can't do. This is where the problem comes in. Also, estrogen has a role in our ability to utilize insulin. So estrogen has a key role in insulin sensitivity, so that ability to bring that blood sugar into the cells. Also metabolic flexibility, which means we can get out of sugar burning mode and get into fat burning mode a lot more effectively and efficiently. And estrogen supports our muscle maintenance and gain. Muscle is responsible for up to 80% of glucose uptake into the cells after a meal. So super important in regards to insulin sensitivity versus resistance. Okay, so as this estrogen goes down then in midlife, so late perimenopause, menopause, you can see where the problem comes in. So let's talk about the 7 most common signs I see in my practice. Number 1 is stubborn weight gain in the midsection. And this is because of insulin not able to bring that glucose into the cells. We make more insulin in response. So insulin starts building in our bloodstream. And if it's not driving glucose into the cells, it's storing fat in our body. Where does it like to store that fat? You got it. In the midsection, especially that love handle area. Number 2, our energy crashes mid-afternoon. But it can also happen about 1 to 2 hours after eating. And this is because of those blood sugar swings or roller coaster that happen with insulin resistance. So we get that initial high after we eat, so we feel great, and then it just plummets and we feel horrible. And so we feel like we gotta go take a nap or we can't keep our eyes open. Sugar cravings. Well, insulin's not driving that blood sugar into the cells. We're not getting that energy from our sugar, so we need more sugar, right? It's not a willpower thing. Number 4 are dramatic mood swings. So just like those energy crashes with the blood sugar swings because of that dysregulation with insulin resistance, our mood also comes along for the ride. So our mood gets foggy, our mood gets low with those swings. Number 5, we get hangry. So that's that shaky, irritable, anxious feeling. If we go too long without eating, we may feel like we have to eat every 2 to 3 hours to keep that regulated. But how do we know? So we go to the doctor, we complain about that. They test your blood sugar and they test your hemoglobin A1C, which is a 2 to 3 month average of your fasting blood sugar. Well, guess what? blood sugar does not rise for 10 to 15 years after having a high insulin level. So we're missing out. We're missing out for a very long time. Skin tags and darkened skin, especially around the neck, in the armpits, and in the groin. So when we have high insulin levels, it drives insulin growth factor 1 pathways in our skin, making it more thickened and more darkened. And the last one, number 7, is difficulty losing weight, especially in that dreaded midsection. Because if we are insulin resistant, we have insulin building up in our bloodstream, storing fat on our body, keeping us in sugar burning mode, not fat burning mode. Okay, so those are the 7 most common signs. What do we do to reverse it? Let's talk about some of those strategies. Number 1, prioritize your protein. Protein is the most stabilizing nutrient for blood sugar and therefore insulin. So start with your protein. Typically 25, 35 grams of protein per meal for midlife women is sufficient. Eat 3 square meals a day, every 4 to 5 hours. And this comes along with the next strategy, is not to skip meals and not to graze throughout the day. Now, we don't want to skip meals, which oftentimes what do we do when we're so frustrated with that stubborn weight gain, is we skip and we skimp all day long. Well, that's a nutritional stressor. We already talked about what stress does to insulin resistance. Grazing means we're just snacking all day long. So every time you eat, you're also making blood sugar, which makes you make insulin, in this case, more insulin because you're resistant. You can see the problem. So 3 square meals a day, every 4 to 5 hours. Try to avoid the skipping and the grazing. We need to, number 4, boost our muscle. So prioritize strength training. You need to push that weight to the limit. So until you're actually fatigued, you cannot lift another rep. This is going to really help that glucose or blood sugar uptake into the cells. Same with moving. So we've got to move, and we've got to move often, because the more you move, the more you are active, your cells need that energy. So it is going to become more sensitive and let that blood sugar in. Number 6, prioritize your sleep. So sleep is the most important lifestyle habit you master, and in this case, for sure. So we do not want any less than 7 hours of actual, quote unquote, actual sleep. So you might be in bed 7 hours, but that does not mean you're getting 7 hours of sleep, because we've got some light sleep, we've got some awake time. So you want at least 7 hours, if not 8 hours of actual sleep. So that's where a wearable can come in handy, where you can track how much you're actually getting. Because anything less than 7 hours, we become metabolically dysfunctional and more resistant to that insulin, because that is a major stressor on the body. Speaking of stress, the next tactic is to manage stress. And it's more about building your resilience, because we can't get rid of stress. Stress is ubiquitous. It's always going to be there. It's always been there. It's just, how does our body respond? So really work on those tactics to build resiliency. Build in the practice of mindfulness, deep breathing, clear your calendar, have some white space. Make sure you are doing the things with the people that you choose that are filling your cup versus depleting your cup. Next tactic, limit plastics. So plastics are in maybe bottles that we reuse or we refill, storage containers, even can linings in beverage and food cans have what are called bisphenols. And bisphenols, whether it's a BPA, BPS, or BPF, because even BPA free is still a bisphenol. It's still going to have BPF or BPS in it. These are environmental chemicals that block our insulin receptors. Now, you're not going to get away from plastic. Plastic, just like stress, it's ubiquitous. It is there to stay, but we want to limit our use and our exposure. And the last tactic, get your fasting insulin checked. So when you know your insulin, you know where you are. So we talked about, how do you know if you have it? Those common signs and symptoms, but you can also get your fasting insulin level checked. The reference range is anywhere from 2 to 25. It's huge. Optimally, you want to be between 5 and 6. Anything above 6 and especially over 10 really indicates insulin resistance. So if you're experiencing the signs and symptoms we just discussed, your body is telling you that it's adjusting metabolically in midlife. And if you want to learn more, you want to know, how do I assess my metabolism? How do I assess my insulin? My doctor won't check it. You want to know, what are your personal triggers that might be causing your body to be more resistant? See the link below. Sign up for a free discovery call. I'm more than happy to hop on a call to talk through this with you and personalize a plan moving forward. And if this topic resonates with you, like and subscribe to my channel, and also share this video with another woman you know that may also be dealing with insulin resistance. And with that, I look very forward to seeing you in the next video.